we all know of Tim's great achievements and accomplishments and mastery in the outer world and the inner world, which are just too many to include in a brief introduction. Um, and, I knew Tim for a few years before I came to the Mastery Circle, and I thought we had a special relationship. Then I came here and I realized that Tim has a special relationship with every single person here. He has created a special relationships with not just family and friends and neighbors, but also with strangers and animals and nature, because he's Tim. So I realize there's not much that I can say about him that most of you don't already know. So instead, I want to talk about the unique way that I've come to know Tim. I met Tim when I joined a dream group for the first time. And those of you who are in a dream group know that we get to know each other differently in a group. We not only learn about each other's fears and traumas and life challenges, but we also get to know about each other's shadow parts. We get to know each other from the other side. So for 10 years, I've had the privilege to know Tim from the other side. And what has always stood out to me is not just his accomplishments, but his kindness and gentleness and compassion. There's a Native American legend that says, it is observed that when a man is firm inside and gentle outside, he's a healer. And that's how I've come to know Tim. He's a healer because his only purpose is to raise consciousness through love and compassion, not just by teaching, but also by leading and inspiring. He is someone who's walking the walk and he's taking us with him. Or I should say he's ascending and he's taking us with him. And I'm so grateful to have him in my life and to have the opportunity to be here and learn from him. So I would like to turn it over to my dear friend and mentor, Tim Piering, for the third presentation of the Great Awakening, Personal and Collective.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You are a dear friend. And, 10 years in a dream group, you do get to really, really know somebody from their entire range of experiences. So thank you. You bring a lot to my life also, and also to the lives of everybody here. So, the Great Awakening. This topic has turned me upside down and inside out, and I work really hard on it because I think it's probably one of the most important things today. We heard it today. We heard all of the chaos and upsets and energy that is going on, and this was foretold. This has been foretold for many, many centuries. These times right now by the Tibetans, by the Hopis, by Edgar Casey, by many channels. This has been foretold. And those of us who are able to get into our hearts, to change our minds, to change our frequency and energy, are going to be the ones, using Sarah's words, to ascend, meaning go to higher vibration, and actually help with the turning that is taking place right now. So I've got a lot of evidence in the videos and the audios and stuff, but I just wanted to start with that. And I'm going to start with Rumi and Die to This Love, because I think that's kind of the main part where we are right now. So I'm going to share screen, keynote, share sound, share. Okay, I'm gonna go big here. Let me go to full screen. There we go. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see the next slide that's coming up.
Yes.
Die, die, die in this love. If you die in this love, your soul will be renewed. Die, die. Don't fear the death of that which is known. If you die to the temporal, you will become timeless. Die, die. Cut off those chains that hold you prisoner to the world of attachment. Die, die, die to the deathless, and you will be eternal. Die, die, and come out of this cloud. When you leave the cloud, you will be the effulgent moon. Die, die, die to the din and the noise of mundane concerns. In the silence of love, you will find the spark of life.
All right, the Great Awakening. When I first started this, as I mentioned, I didn't speak all last year because every time I tried to get to a topic, it expanded so much. And finally, when it came to the Great Awakening, there were 12 topics. And when they fit into a mandala, it worked. When I tried to do it linearly, like you do in corporations where you build and it's logic, it didn't work. It worked this way, where it's a mandala. And a mandala is where everything is interconnected. And I was looking at it when I do one topic, for example, that topic expands and it pulls in other topics. And then the other, I do another topic. And it's almost for me like music. Each time a new set of music arises out of the mandala. And so, and I believe that is closer to our heart, closer to the right side of the way we think rather than the logical way that we think. Prophecies of our times. We live in the year of the fire horse. I loved this image of the fire horse. And I did a carving of the fire horse. That's the carving I did because I find when you take a concept and you bring it into the world, then it makes it real. Look, if you have an idea about who you want to be, or you have some beautiful insight, or there's an image or something, if you don't do anything with it, it'll disappear like thoughts disappear. If you make poetry, or you make a painting. And for me, I'm starting sculptures. Make a sculpture. This brings it in and makes it real in your life. You are embodying it. So here's the year of the fire horse. It's the year of the fire horse is rare. It's high intensity, 60-year cycle. There's energy, rapid change, intense passion. It signifies boldness, independence, strong, unpredictable momentum, acting as a catalyst, major, often disruptive societal, and personal transformations. Often disruptive societal and personal transformations. The fire horse is rare. It's the 60-year cycle. It symbolizes courage and unapologetic forward motion, the energy of decisive action. There's an inner transformation born of trust. This year favors bold choices, clarity of purpose, and progress guided by conviction rather than fear. And progress guided by conviction rather than fear. It acts as a catalyst for the major, often disruptive societal and personal transformation. What rises now is not chaos, but purpose in motion, and a reminder that true power emerges when direction and inner strength align with intention. So Bill, in his meditation this morning, said, intention, aspiration, and knowing. Intention, aspiration, and knowing. When you wake up in the morning, you shouldn't get out of bed. You shouldn't turn on social media. You should go, there's a new you in the morning. There's a new you every single morning. Why go into the old programming, the old you, the 95% of thoughts that just reoccur every day? Why do that? Lay there in bed, get quiet, look at your intention, your aspirations, and your knowing. Look at those and let those seep into your body. And I guarantee you, you will get out of bed a different person. Not only that, it will electrify and magnify your entire day into another way of being. I'm going to jump around here. There is so much to share. Let me look at Ed Casey for a minute. I'm going to just leave it here. Hopefully it's big enough to see. Edgar Casey said that 2026 is a pivotal era in human evolution, marked by mass awakening of superhuman abilities, heightened intuition, telepathy, psychic healing, and multidimensional perception aligned with the biblical second coming of Christ consciousness. The Atlantic revival around the planet's pole shifts and thousands of trance readings, he prophesied that the time of quickening was in full bloom by the mid-1920s. We're in the mid-1920s. This would demand profound purification to tune physical vessel and would enable humanity to transcend limitations to co-create a new and enlightened age of enlightened mastery. That's where we are right now. And look, you can succumb to fear. Mac's talk this morning was so hard to hold that this is going on, but we cannot be, we will acknowledge it, but we cannot be pulled down to that level. We have to hold a higher level so that we can pull everything up as best we can. This is one of my great Rinpoches, Tulku Urgyen. He said, we are now in the dark age. At the end of the dark age, the secret mantra will blaze like wildfire. And these are different teachings from ancient masters that are going to blaze like wildfire. So have heart, have a heart. This is a time where you can really do something, and you start internally with your body, mind, and spirit. I'm going to stop for just a minute. If anyone wants to say anything kind of about just this opening, we'll do that, and then we'll move on. So,
Tim, can you explain what the Atlantic revival means?
I'm not sure myself. I know that there was a place called Atlantis, which was, I'm not sure where it was. This is what I'm thinking that I've heard, and that there was a great revival happening, and then something interrupted it, and the people moved to different places. That's all I know about it. So if anybody else knows anything about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Melanie, please.
I just think it's so incredible that the mid 2020s, was that Edgar Casey who actually predicted that?
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's all.
Yeah, and it really means something for us now because we see all the turmoil, but at the same time, there's incredible things coming through to help us evolve and grow. And I'll get into some of these a little bit. So I'm gonna launch again. Let me share screen.
And isn't that also the Kali Yuga?
Yes, the Kali Yuga, but they feel the Kali Yuga is ending now. In fact, I'll pull up this. Yeah, Ruth, did you want to?
Yeah, I've been studying a lot of Edgar Casey now, and I actually studied him when I was 16 years old because I was trying to figure out things in my life that no one else could tell me about. And I'm going to share a video with all of you that has a greater extended prophecy about many things. But one of the most important things he said is that your friends who have not been on the wavelength will suddenly discover all these new synchronicities themselves and will be afraid. And this is the moment when you can, because you understand it, reassure them that they're not crazy, that it's perfect, and that they always had that ability, but the veil has been lifted. So this is where we can all be helpful in the great turning.
Beautiful, Ruth. Well said. And I'm coming to the conclusion and experience that it's all synchronicity, not just every now and then. It's all synchronicity. Everything that happens to you is synchronicity. And for your growth, even the negative stuff, you're going to grow through that. All right, I'll go back to here. I asked AI about this, about the Great Awakening, just to see what it was going to say. And it says it's going to shift human consciousness from separation and fear to unity, love, and self-awareness. I mean, exactly what we've been hearing from every direction. Mystics across every tradition has described a pivotal area where humanity collectively remembers its divine nature and the illusion of ego begins to dissolve. And then it gets into Hindu and Vedic, the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness. And we're going to enter the Satya Yuga, an age of truth and light. That's where we're headed. That's what we're indigenous, the Hopi prophecies, the age of Aquarius, all of a mass spiritual meditation, mindfulness, and inner work entering the mainstream. Here we go. Old systems, political, financial, social, destabilizing and revealing what no longer serves. We are all waking up to what is no longer serving, particularly in the political situation. Okay, I'm going to bounce around again.
Can you make it bigger when you show it to us?
Oh, sure. This one was too small. I just tried to, it was too small to even fit on the screen. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we can read it. Thank you.
Yeah. I want to talk about enlightenment accelerators. And these are entheogens. Entheogens are psychedelics that have created a quick teaching, a quick motion. So let me go to this little video here.
Under high doses, the brain stops filtering information and starts receiving it. The ego dissolves, the senses reorganize, and something begins to speak. It doesn't feel imaginary. It feels intelligent, autonomous, ancient. Across cultures, the reports are consistent. Aztecs called mushrooms the flesh of the gods. Siberian shamans called them the little teachers. Modern psychonauts call them entities. Different names, same structure. Contact. The question isn't whether the visions are real. The question is why multiple minds experience the same architecture, geometry, languages, and beings without ever meeting each other. Even more inconvenient, mushroom spores can survive the vacuum of space. They're engineered for endurance. Terence McKenna suggested they didn't evolve here. they arrived here. If that's true, mushrooms aren't drugs, they're technology. And technology has intention. In the ancient world, those who controlled altered states controlled wisdom. In the modern world, we outlawed them. Draw your own conclusion.
So those are a couple of things with psilocybin, these beautiful mushrooms that create an amazing experience, as does 5-MeO DMT. This I can't make bigger, Patricia. I'm just going to say a couple things about it.
It's perfect. Thank you.
There have been veterans who have been killing themselves, suicidal, because of post-traumatic stress. And 50 of them have received combined ibogaine and 5-MeO treatments in Mexico, and it's blown in 2 days. It's blown their post-traumatic stress. So they don't want to kill themselves anymore. And afterwards, they do journaling and meditation and some techniques. But it's become a huge, huge change in their lives. And now there's work going on all over the world at Johns Hopkins. People are reporting, especially on 5-MeO, huge, meaningful, and spiritual experiences. So there have been over 150. I'll get to you in a second, Melanie. 150 psychedelic churches that have been started in the U.S. in 30 states, which are using these as a spiritual work. Let me stop share. Yes, Melanie, you're muted though.
Is this what was called MDA?
No. MDMA is also, it's called ecstasy, and it's a heart opening. What they did with the veterans is ibogaine, and ibogaine is a tree bark from South America. And when they take it, all the shadow comes up and they experience the shadow. So it opens all that up. That's day one. On day two, they do 5-MeO DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is an ingredient in the frog, the toad, the Sonoran desert toad. And that's been an incredible miracle drug. Those 2 days have changed things. Even Trump recently signed an executive order to fast track all this stuff through the research and development, told DEA and all of them, back off, let fast track this stuff because it's really making a difference. I don't want to get too much into this, but way back when Richard Nixon put all these as Schedule 1. Schedule 1 means they're up there with cocaine, heroin, meth, all the bad stuff. Means it's highly addictive, number one, and two, has no medical benefit. Those are totally wrong, totally off. These are not highly addictive. The medical benefit's unbelievably good. He did it because Timothy Leary was saying, tune in, tune out, and drop out. It didn't help the war machine at the time. It didn't help everybody falling into the fear and all of that. We got to go over and fight, in foreign war and all of that. So Nixon called Timothy Leary the most dangerous man in the United States. So that's how it got on Schedule 1. Now we're waking up, and as I said, Trump just signed this order for fast tracking this. So let me go back. Chat. This is so exciting, all of this stuff. It's just so exciting that this is happening now for us. I think this is why we reincarnated at this time. If you believe in past lives, you are here now with what you know to help and change. That's what I believe. Okay, here we go. This is well, you'll hear.
What have you experienced?
I think psychedelics changed my life. I think it's the first time that I was able to unzip this ego costume and start stepping out of it. And it was terrifying. Who will I be if I'm not this Halloween costume of Chase Hughes?
What was your Halloween costume?
Tough guy.
Tobacco chewing, gunman.
gunfighting military guy.
20 years in the military.
Yeah.
How many deployments?
9.
9 deployments.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think just stepping out of that was the most meaningful experience of my entire life. And I judged mushrooms for decades. And I thought there's no way that that could be a spiritual molecule, that there could be anything spiritual about that. And you cannot, there's no words in the English language to be able to describe the depth that thing can take you to and or show you or expose you to. I don't know how it works. I'm not claiming to know the GPS coordinates of whatever dimension you go to, or if you're imagining it, or if it's all hallucination. I don't care. It unzips your ego. And I think if you do it every few months, even a lighter dose every few months, wherever it's legal, I think you come, like if we're doing a little chart here, here's my little ego up here. And I have one psychedelic journey and my ego just disappears. And I see myself as less separate. That's kind of what ego is. I'm separate from everybody else.
And a psychopath is somebody who is
The ultimate
separation.
Yeah. No one else is meaningless but me. It's the perfect ultimate separation. So now ego, you have this little brief experience of ego dying. And then you start coming out of that and be like, wow, that was like I was connected to stuff. Like I was this military guy, no spirituality whatsoever. And I've never been spiritual until that day. I became permanently spiritual, not religious by any means, but just so spiritual that I would say, I have no idea what this is, this existence. I don't know what it is. So then you come down out of the ego, you go back up. After the dose, you're back into ego again. But this little peak is like a millimeter lower than the last peak. Maybe a few months later, do it again. And this peak is a little bit lower. And this little ego peak's a little bit lower.
Okay. So I want to just talk about Mike Tyson for one moment here. Can you see Mike Tyson on the video image? Okay. Mike Tyson was 100 pounds overweight. He had left his family and he was doing cocaine and alcohol and was just a mess. He took 5-MeO and it changed his life. He lost 100 pounds. He stopped taking bad drugs and he went back to his family. Now, Mike Tyson is the heavyweight champion of the world for many, many years and kind of a real rogue guy. Now he goes around the world talking about the change that it made for him. Okay, anybody want to say anything about that for a few minutes? Oh, good to see you, Robin. I'm glad Robin was on a retreat, silent retreat, so she's back. A different person, I'm sure. And Mary's over in Italy, right, Mary? Yeah, Mary's coming in from Italy, so fantastic.
Tim, I basically want to thank you for being such a good spokesman and educating us on nature's gift. Thank you for all the work you're doing. It's pretty amazing.
Rena. Thanks, Rena. Yes. This is so important now, and these are new tools that are arriving for us. Okay, what is this experience where you get past the perturbations of the mind? Like, oh, I like this and I don't like that. And they say people are just constantly running kind of negative programs. Not this group, because this group recognizes what's going on with their mind and they're pretty much pulled back watching these old things run themselves, but you're watching it more from a state of awareness. But that's not where the world's at. 98%, 95%. Look at the wars. Look what's going on around the world. They're stuck in this loops of suffering. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to do something really kind of unusual here. Then I will turn this off. And now you can see me. I'm going to pull this over. I made this as a sculpture, and it's the Great Wave at Kanagawa. And here are the little boats, and these are the waves at Kanagawa. And the waves are what is happening to people riding in the boats in the tumultuous sea of life. In the background here is
Jim, can I just mention to people that if they go to you and put pin, then they will see an enlarged view of everything.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Bill. So in the background is Mount Fuji. And I was thinking as a metaphor, what if these boats could get to Mount Fuji? Because Mount Fuji is a spiritual mountain. So thinking about that, I worked on a bigger carving of Mount Fuji. Here's Mount Fuji. Now, the little right here is the boat, if you could see this. And there's the wave. When you're on Mount Fuji, this stuff is just noise. It's little stuff. How do you get to Mount Fuji? Well, we look at Michael Singer's work, for example. All those waves are nothing more than samskaras and obscurations that have come from past upsets and stuff, and they get re-energized. And what he has you do is as you breathe, lean back, love them, be with them, and they will release because they're toxic. Your body will release them. Now, the really heavy duty stuff, which is traumas and post-traumatic stress, you need some extra help getting those released, like we saw with the work down in Mexico and the psychedelics and all that. You need help. But once you get here to Mount Fuji, where are you? You're in a place of love and gratitude and compassion. It's just natural. You are at this place here, love, gratitude, and compassion. And you are seeing the world differently. You're seeing all the people in the little boats out there and feeling compassion for them. And so when you live here long enough, what happens is an amazing thing. It's called spontaneous right action in the Eastern ideas and concepts. And people meditate long enough and they stay in this heart space long enough, they enter a place called spontaneous right action. What is that? You just know what to do and say to help people because you now want to help them. You want to raise them up. Your energy is different. One avatar can raise 1 million people who are at low energy. One Christ, one Buddha, one Krishna, one Lao Tzu can raise millions and millions of people. And so your job is to get here to Mount Fuji, to reside in that place, to leave behind the tumultuous waves, understand what's going on. See, these people are blended with the waves. They don't even know that they're not it. They're just stuck in this tumultuous thing. What is this up here? This is where the ego, you're still an ego, but you're feeling this hugeness. This is called Turiya, and this is called Turiya Tita. And that is the place where the human being blends with the divine. So let's see if I can get back here. I didn't know this was going to work real well because it's trying to come in live and stuff sometimes is a little difficult, but hopefully you were able to see that. I've got this in my room here, so it reminds me. By the way, we talked about taking an idea and making it real. When I made these carvings, that's real. That has really brought it into my whole beingness. So let's go here. I'm going to share here.
One day you'll come to see that only God exists. There's no such thing as independent, separate persons. Only God exists. So what does it mean? All these forms will disappear? No. The belief in their separateness will disappear. Pure consciousness doesn't mean there's no thought. No, it means that they may arise, but they are ineffective against the purity of consciousness. Meaning that you have transcended the need to be different from this and that. You're transcended. So your beingness is returning to its original God nature. Like that. Only love is there. Enjoy. When I say there, I really mean here. Okay? We use word there. There's no there. You have to drop the T. Everything is here.
These are great masters. Let's go to this real quick. 2 minutes long. Let's see, play. This is the guy who's the military guy who took the mushrooms. Let's hear what he has to say.
If humans who never met somehow described the exact same reality, the question becomes, what exactly did they all see? Here's what they all agreed on. This is the first truth. The one the ancient world tried their absolute hardest to communicate to us. And it's also the one that we've gone the farthest away from. You are not separate. You never were, and you never could be. Every single ancient civilization on Earth figured this out. In the Upanishads from India, they had a saying called Tat Twam Usi. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it basically means you are that. Not connected to it, not loved by it. You are the divine wearing this human costume. Jesus even said this. He said the entire kingdom of God is within you, not in a building or a book, in you. In the ancient Sufi texts, they said you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. If you look at Hermetic texts, all is one. If you look at Taoism, everything is the Tao expressing itself in 10,000 forms. If you look at the ancient Mayan text, which is called the Popol Vuh, you see heart of sky, heart of earth. This is the universe as a single living being. Even looking at Buddhism, there is no separate self. If you look inside the Kabbalah, which is one of my favorite quotes, they say creation is one emanation, divided only in appearance. And if you look into quantum physics, what are we starting to discover? Everything is one field, fragmented by perception. Different cultures, different metaphors, same exact truth. There is no you versus the world. There's only this one universe, like experiencing itself from your point of view.
Okay, there's one other thing I want to get to, and then we'll open it up for a little bit of talk. This is moving from what's called 3D to 5D. We talked about this a little bit before. It's not an easy move, but you see, this guy, Chase Hughes, he's waking up. People are waking up all over, and it's a bit of a rough ride as we're finding ourselves. So let's go here, and we'll talk about this, what movement.
In 3D, you're ruled by logic, linear time, survival mode. In 5D, your perception widens. Intuition gets louder. Energy becomes the new language. You might feel it in waves, sudden emotional purging, moments of clarity that disappear by lunch, a need to delete everything and sit in a field for 12 hours. This is the recalibration, your system dropping old code. Your thoughts aren't malfunctioning. They're trying to reroute. In the quantum field, thoughts are electric and emotions are magnetic. Together, they form a frequency, and that frequency becomes reality. In 5D, the system learns to hold more energy. Your body adapts. Your intuition sharpens. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. And somehow, you still have to go to work. Anchoring 5D energy isn't about being Zen 24/7. It's about noticing the chaos and not emotionally combusting, holding stillness in the noise. You don't need a new life. You need a new frequency. Eat real food. The shadow work. The sleepless nights. The days where your only spiritual practice is not throwing your phone into a lake. There's no arrival. There's just integration and maybe a salt bath. This is the 5D Earth shift. It's global. It's cellular. It's not a trend. It's a realignment. You're not broken. You're just unlearning density. Your nervous system is responding to the planet. Your soul is sinking to the field. You came here to do this in a body, not escape it. So breathe, move slower. Take the pressure off becoming anything. The version of you that's aware of all this, that's the version you've been shifting into.
Okay. So that's what we're going through right now. That's what we're going through right now. Like to open it up for anyone who wants to speak a little bit. Yes, Patricia, please.
It's amazing. I've been trying to be a Buddhist for a long time, and when I was living at MIMS, there was the stress of I was living out of my weekend bag, and but then when she died, her grandson came and he was removing things from the office and shredding papers. Everything was chaos, chaos, chaos. And I was editing the video for her memorial. And I was totally focused on it, even though beyond my computer, it was amazing chaos. And I realized that, and I have ADD, but I think I could do it because of Buddhism, because of all these teachings.
Right, yes.
And I was so into the moment, into what focusing. So yeah, it totally spoke to me. Beautiful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Patricia. And Mary Grace or Sam.
Thank you, Tim. This was really an impactful presentation for me this morning, and I imagine for all of us. For those of you who don't know me, 30 years ago, I think it is now, I did ayahuasca for the first time, and it changed my life permanently. What it did was opened me up, opened my awareness and perception up. It's been a powerful journey. It's been a bumpy journey, and yet I wouldn't have the life and be where I am now without it. So it's a great reminder. I really appreciate the presentation, Tim.
Thank you, Mary Grace. Yes, Melanie.
You know, so many things that you talked about were memories for me, experiences. I was lucky enough to experience psychedelic drug experiences in the 70s. I don't think I've ever said that before, that I was lucky enough to experience that. It's always been a deep, dark secret, in certain places. But I'll never forget. That's why I'd ask you if the 5-MAO was MDA. Whatever MDA was, the first time I took that, that was it. It was the experience of love.
Yeah.
I loved every single thing. It was as though I could feel the energy and see the molecules and things. My awareness it was so incredible. And thank you for reminding me of that experience. And I can, as I look at things today, I'm going to remember that it's possible to experience the energy of all things. You don't always get to see things expanding and contracting, but it's a great presentation. You're just masterful, Tim, really and truly.
Thank you, Melanie. I know we're getting close to the time here. And I've only gotten through half the slides that I thought I was going to get through with this one, and we'll pick up again next time. I want to really just mention something about this enlightenment, what it is. What enlightenment is it's all light. It's all light. And you do experience this when you go into certain levels of meditation or with like 5-MeO and there's everything becomes auspicious. Everything becomes just uh, godlike. Everything becomes compassionate. Everything becomes love. And it so fills you. It so fills you that all you want to do is to heal and love. It's just explosive. You cannot contain it. And that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. But along the way, the old coding, you heard that 3D to 5D, the old coding has to get realigned, and that's tough. I find there's days I'm really up in this space, and other days it's a rough go. And then I just go, I got a choice here. Who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? What did Diana say? Love, be what you love, uh, to make it be what you do. Rumi's got this. I have more Rumi stuff to share with you too, but uh, that we are so blessed. We're so blessed to have this information, to be with this group. This is just a super high special group. When you wake up in the morning, again, who do you want to be? You have a choice. You're a new person. You are a new person every day. You're actually a new person every second. And there is an eternal now. It's called the fourth time in Buddhism. Past, present, and future don't even exist. They're concepts. We are now in an eternal present. And you can choose. You have free will to choose. Who do you want to be? And so when the old stuff hooks you, and it's like, okay, I acknowledge this. This is part of the old system. I open up, I release it, and pretty soon you're out of those ways, and you are now in a whole different place. And where it gets really magical is when you say something or do something for someone who's suffering, and it raises them. That's the ultimate spontaneous right action and spontaneous service to others. That's where we're headed, and spontaneous transformation and evolution for ourselves and for the world. So with that, I'll close.
Thank you, Tim. And I don't even have words. I'm not even going to pretend I do. Thank you, Tim. That'll have to do.
Thank you, Tim. It was really absolutely wonderful.